tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
I'm having a little technical difficulties over here. All right. All right. I had to write the wife back real quick. All right. And hopefully things are working this time. We will see. Go ahead and put that on. All right. Hey, chat is working. Hi, Michelle. It's good to see you. Ugh. This will be the last live I do today. I'm gonna wrap up what I'm doing after this. I haven't really slept in 3 days. It's too hot and it's too cold. I'm not sick. I just sick in the head. All right. Got some stomach problems. I just go with stomach issues. Nobody really wants to hear about it. I don't have a gallbladder, so sometimes I have to watch what I eat, and I didn't watch what I ate. So let's put it that way. And now I'm paying the price for it, 3 days later. So, something I kind of noticed. I was just in a Zoom meeting. Now, unless that Zoom meeting is a hybrid meeting, it does not need to pay rent for the club. The club is a different entity. And I'm getting a little tired of people trying to use the Zoom meeting to collect money to pay the rent at the club. Stop begging for fucking money in meetings. It is not the group's problem if the club can't pay their rent. It is not the group's problem. Now they have a vested interest, sure, because they want to be able to go there and go to their meetings. But asking for more money is not the way that you do it. The way that you do it is by going to detoxes, to hospitals, to doctors, and talking to people wanting help and 12-stepping them. That is how you do it. And if you don't want to get off your fucking ass and go do that, then quit asking for money. It's not how it works. All right. Just thought I'd clear that up first. All right. Just making sure. All right. And I get concerned about chat. So, oh no, it's Mr. Hand. That's an old SNL skit. So, all right. Welcome to Daily Treasure. My name is Dion. Yep. It's my name. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch, unless, of course, you are currently eating lunch and stuffing your face, then don't worry about it too much. And everybody here is on Facebook. I'm gonna check something, right? I already have 2 downloads. Man, it's just kicking butt. Okay, I gotta quit looking at that. Because now I'm updating my Podbean every 5 minutes, see how many downloads I have, and yeah, I don't want to get into a groove like that. The doctor's opinion, a doctor's opinion. The late, great Dr. Silkworth, who spent many a year, even before he met Bill, failing and failing and failing and failing to get people sober and keep them sober, trying to help these people recreate their lives, talking to wives and children about very, very hard things. So let's go ahead and get started. A lot of it I'm going to kind of cruise through. There's not much for me to talk on. So and I will go as long as I can, but I'm going to preface that I am having stomach issues, and if I end abruptly, that is why. So, but we should be good. We should be good. I'm pretty good at reading my body. So, the subject presented in this book seems to me to be of paramount importance to those afflicted with alcoholic addiction. I say this after many years' experience as medical director of one of the oldest hospitals in the country treating alcohol and drug addiction. There was, therefore, a sense of real satisfaction when I was asked to contribute a few words on a subject which is covered in such masterly detail in these pages. So I love you too, Amber. I hope you're having a good day, honey. Yeah, so before he even wrote this, hi CJ, and the chat's working this time. Chat's working this time. It's like, yeah, why not? Let's go ahead and give it to him. I mean, he does try and help. Let's go ahead and give him chat. There's just a lot of moving parts, and when they don't work, if something's just a little off, then. But probably best that, if anything, fail to be chat and not the stream itself. But anyway. So that means he read this book first before writing this, right? And he had been working with Bill and Bob and several other people of the First 100 for years. So we doctors have realized for a long time that some form of moral psychology was of an urgent importance to alcoholics, but its application presented difficulty beyond our conception. What is moral psychology? Moral psychology is the study of human thought and behavior in ethical contexts, essentially examining how people make moral judgments, reason through moral dilemmas, and develop their moral characteristics. All right. What is the meaning of moral psychology? Let's ask another question. Is moral psychology and CBT the same thing? No. Moral psychology and CBT are not the same. While both fields study human behavior and decision making, moral psychology focus specifically on the psychology process. CBT is a therapeutic approach to treat mental health conditions, identifying. So, okay. Just wanted to know the difference between those two. What with our ultra modern standards, our scientific approach to anything, we are perhaps not well equipped to apply the powers of good that lie outside our synthetic knowledge. The powers of good in this case would be God, our higher power. Okay. They call it the X factor. Many years ago, one of the leading contributors to this book came under our care in the hospital, and while here, he acquired some ideas which he put into practical application at once. Later, he requested the privilege of being allowed to tell his story to other patients here, and with some misgiving, we consented. The cases we have followed through have been most interesting. In fact, many of them are amazing. The unselfishness of these men as we have come to know them, the entire absence of profit motive, and their community spirit is indeed inspiring to one who has labored long and wearily in this alcoholic field. They believe in themselves and still more in the power which pulls chronic alcoholics back from the gates of death. Wow. Of course, an alcoholic ought to be freed from his physical craving for liquor, and that this often requires a definite hospital procedure before psychological measures can be of maximum service. What they're saying here is that we need the hooch out of your body, man. We need the alcohol all the way out of your body, okay? Because it affects us. Even the slightest little bit can affect us, right? Okay. Now, again, here we are abnormal compared to non-drinkers or non-alcoholics. Okay. To those that are not alcoholic. This is where it's gonna be a little different. See, for them it's an ounce an hour. For us, no. It can take up to 28 days. That's how long it takes. Actually, on an average, it takes 28 days. It could take even longer, depending on how badly you've beaten up your liver and kidneys. We believe, and so suggested a few years ago, that the action of alcoholics on of alcohol in these chronic alcoholics is the manifestation of an allergy. That the phenomena of craving is limited to this class and never occurs in the average temperate drinker. All right, we're going to look up another one here. Oops. Definition of phenomena.
Here's the definition of phenomenon. A fact or situation that is observed to exist or happen, especially one whose cause or explanation is in question.
That made no sense. A fact or situation that is observed to exist or happen, especially one whose cause or explanation is in question. Let's see if we can find some other one. A remarkable person, thing, or event. So here's the philosophy behind it, which can help us. The object of a person's perception. There we go. Okay. So the phenomenon of craving is limited to this class and never occurs in the average temperate drinker. These allergic types can never safely use alcohol in any form at all. Yeah. Don't get me started on paranormal. I watch a lot of paranormal. Maybe we should just go ghost hunting. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we could have like an AA group seance. I'm fucking around. I'm messing around. These allergic types can never safely use alcohol. And once having formed the habit and found they cannot break it, once having lost their self-confidence, their reliance upon things human, their problems pile up on them and they become astonishingly difficult to solve. Yeah. What's saying making mountains out of molehills, right? Now, there is a clinical side to this also, and it has to do with your sleep. Okay? When you drink, you do not dream. When you do not dream, you do not REM. Well, I never dream. No, you just don't remember them. You're REMing. Right? You don't get REM. And when you don't get REM, you go cuckoo. You'll hear things. You'll make things up in your head. Yeah, you will. And they'll be absolutely true to you. Because what did we talk about? The phenomenon? Well, that's the perception, right? That this is the only normal life because it's the only one we've known. Okay? Maybe we had a parent or somebody, an uncle or an aunt in our lives that had an alcohol problem, right? Yeah. Frothy emotional appeal seldom suffices. What they're saying there is begging an alcoholic to quit drinking usually doesn't cut it. You know, it's weird that the biggest denial I have found is I'm not hurting anyone but myself. And people all around them will sit there and say, you're affecting me, you're affecting me, you're affecting me. And we just don't believe it. Well, there's that phenomena again. There's that phenomena thing. All right, we're going to talk more about paranormal and shadow people. Michelle says, yes, paranormal is my muse. Gloria Joy says, shadow people, places. Oh, I have to accept shadow people, places, and things. Oh, somebody was running around here for about a week, but I haven't seen him in a couple days. I think it was my grandma just checking in on me, making sure I'm all right. All right. So frothy emotional pill seldom suffices. It doesn't seem like until somebody like you or I comes along and says, I didn't think I was hurting anybody, but when I took a look at it, this is what it was, right? And it's fact, it's experience. Well, there's not much frothy emotional appeal in that, right? The message which can interest and hold these alcoholics people must have depth and weight. There we go. See, you get to be the depth and weight now. And this is that it's the process, man. And the process is kind of the same for everyone. Somebody eventually came along in your life, and then those same people that you got sober because they begged you, they'll literally turn around and say, I told you that for years. I've heard it all the time. Well, I told you that. Yeah, but you're my wife. I don't fucking listen to you. It, uh, I wasn't listening to her. I wasn't listening to my mom. I was too. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why. I wish I did, because then we could help solve it. But in nearly all cases, their ideals must be grounded in a power greater than themselves if they are to recreate their lives. Okay. That doesn't mean that it needs to be God. No. God is just a universal word. Okay. I do not believe in any God that's written in any Bible or, well, I don't know. I've never read the Bible, so I can't really make that statement, can I? Okay. But here's the thing, my perception of this world is different than yours. You grew up different. You're a different person. Okay. All the people right here are all female. You definitely grew up differently than I did. Okay. But we still did the same things. And that's where we can connect. I've been saying this a lot lately. We have to find a landing ground, a place in which we can all agree, or division will happen. And we can't have that. We can't have that. If any feel that a psychiatrist directing a hospital for alcoholics we appear somewhat sentimental, okay. People that work at psychiatrics and people that direct psychiatric hospitals, they don't do it for the money. They don't do it for the money. They do it because they have what is called a servant's heart. So my wife has a servant's heart. Okay. And, she will go out of her way. In fact, lately she's been going out of her way for somebody close in her family that never did anything to try and make her life better. No, but she's still doing it because she has a servant's heart. Okay. So usually people that work there have dealt with it in their lives and have been affected. They have been through it and they want to help you so that you don't have to go through it too. Okay. That is love, my friends. It is love. So when he said directing a hospital, we appear somewhat sentimental. Fuck, man. Okay. And I've had to do this. In fact, I'm in this situation they're getting ready to talk about right now. Let them stand with us a while on the firing line. Let them see the tragedies, the despairing wives, the little children. Let the solving of these problems become a part of their daily work, and even in their sleeping moments, and the most cynical will not wonder why we have accepted and encouraged this movement. We feel, coming from a doctor, we feel, after many years of experience, that we have found nothing which has contributed more to the rehabilitation of these men than the altruistic movement now growing up among them. I'm going to tell you something, okay? There is still not a program out there that contributes more than the altruistic movement. Nothing will ever be able to overcome that. I didn't say AA. I said the altruistic movement. Okay? There's a lot of places that are altruistic. Okay, now let's go look up the definition. We all kind of know what it is, but it's good to know more, right? Definition of altruistic. sure they got
Here's
it
the
right.
definition of altruistic, showing a disinterested and selfless concern for the well-being of others, unselfish.
Mhm. Freely received, freely give. Freely receive, freely give. Okay? If it's not altruistic, it's business. Okay? Does business belong in the recovery business? It can. It can with the right intentions, with the right people. Sure, it can. Happens all the time. Just go to a local detox, right? Men and women drink essentially because they like the effect produced by alcohol. That's why I drank it. I didn't drink it for the taste. The taste of alcohol is horrible. And what's funny is I'm a picky eater. I'm a very picky eater. But when it came to alcohol, it didn't. Yeah, I didn't care. The second shot's always easier. All right. I can feel the Jim Beam sliding down my throat just by saying that. That hot sensation, right? That's the ease and comfort we're getting ready to talk about. That'd be my instant gratification. Nothing ever made me so happy while I was drinking as when other people gave Dion permission to drink. That would make me very happy. Michelle says it blows my mind that AA is a spiritual program. I was looking for enlightenment and it's here in the 12 steps. Yeah. There's no real conformity here. There's no axes to grind. There's no dues to be paid. No. We're not witch burners. No. Because we know what it's like to be down like that. We know what it's like. We have been there before. And how am I going to judge you for something I used to be? Huh. The sensation is so elusive. That means you can't see it. You can't touch it. The sensation is so elusive that while they admit it is injurious, they cannot, after time, differentiate the true from the false. And that goes back to their problems pile up on them and become astonishingly difficult to solve. We don't want them solved because if we solve those, then I don't get my alcohol anymore. And what did Daryl Hall and John Oates say about that? Well, I can't go for that. No, can do, and I can't go for that. I didn't know the difference between true and false. I lived in a fog world. I lived in a world that just didn't exist. All right. I don't know how many times somebody would say to me, Dion, you're contradictory. And I would contradict that. You call me a liar? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying I'm fucking lying? Okay. Real easy. I'll just deepen my voice. And they were right. They were correct. I was being contradictory. Because it was whatever helped me get to my alcohol. That was the only solution for me, right? To them, their alcoholic life seems the only normal one. It's because it's the only one that we've experienced. It's the only one that we know. So when we get into AA and a seed is planted, your drinking career is over with. It's over with. It'll never be the same again. They are restless, irritable, and discontented unless they can again experience the sense and ease and comfort which comes at once by taking a few drinks. Drinks they see others taking with impunity. After they have succumbed to the desire again, as so many do, and the phenomenon of craving, there's the phenomenon again, which by the way is out of your control, my control, of craving develops, They pass through the well-known stages of a spree, emerging remorseful with a firm resolution never to drink again. Who else here? I don't know if this happened to anybody else, but the moment I made a promise to quit drinking abruptly, we're doing it now, it became like fucking 50 times harder. It became 50 times harder once it was solidified. Man, that was hard, right? And there were plenty of times I fucking meant it. I meant it. I didn't want to, I didn't want to drink anymore, but I could not help myself. I lived in this phenomenon, right? This is repeated over and over. It's what we call the insanity of the disease. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different, well, I can do it this time. And here's how, right? Unless this person can experience an entire psychic change, there is very little hope of his recovery. Let's look that one up too. Never looked it up. Let's see what it, What is the definition of a psychic change? A psychic change is a mental and emotional transformation that can occur during recovery from addiction. It can involve a shift in outlook, a spiritual experience, or a change in behavior. So see, looks like there's three different ways, right? A psychic change can help you see what matters in life, like your kids, your significant other, the people in your life. It can help you work through recovery with discipline. It can help you find peace and fulfillment. How to achieve a psychic change? Working the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. Practicing many. Yeah, it isn't quite getting there. All right. On the other hand, and strange as this may seem to those who do not understand, once a psychic change has occurred, the very same person who seemed doomed, who had so many problems he despaired of ever solving them, suddenly finds himself easily able to control his desire for alcohol. The only effort necessary being that required to follow a few simple rules. Men have cried out to me in sincere and despairing appeal, "Doctor, I cannot go on like this. I have everything to live for. I must stop, but I cannot. You must help me." Faced with this problem, if a doctor is honest with himself, he must sometimes feel his own inadequacy. Although he gives all that is in him, it is often not enough. One feels that something more than a human power is needed to produce the essential psychic change. Though the aggregate of recoveries, and aggregate means sum total, that I do know. So the total sum of recoveries resulting from psychiatric effort is considerable. We physicians must admit we have made little impression upon the problem as a whole. Many types do not respond to the ordinary psychological approach. And even then, we, AA has, and other programs, we still haven't made a big effect on the whole problem. There's still hundreds of thousands of alcoholics out there that don't know. We tend to think that everybody knows about AA, but that's not true. That's not true. I do not hold with those who believe that alcoholism is entirely a problem of mental control. I've had many men who had, for example, worked a period of months on some problem or business deal which was to be settled on a certain date favorably to them. They took a drink a day or so prior to the date, and then the phenomenon of craving at once became paramount to all other interests, so that the important appointment was not met. These men were not drinking to escape. They were drinking to overcome a craving beyond their mental control. Excitement. Yeah. Excitement fucks us up, man. Well, think about, what do we do when something goes well? Well, we party. We party. There are many situations which arise out of the phenomena of craving, which cause men to make the supreme sacrifice rather than continue to fight. In other words, they're saying we got a million excuses. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, I've heard most of them. I've heard most of them. The classifications of alcoholics seems most difficult and in much detail outside the scope of this book. There are, of course, the psychopaths who are emotionally unstable. We're familiar with this type. They're always going on the wagon for keeps. They're over remorseful and make many resolutions, but never a decision. There's a type who is unwilling to admit that he cannot take a drink. He plans various ways of drinking. He changes his brand or environment. There is the type who always believes that after being entirely free from alcohol for a period of time, he can drink without danger. There's the manic depressive type, who is perhaps the least understood by his friends and about whom a whole chapter could be written. Okay? Then there are types entirely normal in every respect except the effect alcohol has upon them. They are often able, intelligent, friendly people. Okay? But we all have some things in common. Yes, we do. All these and many others have one symptom in common. This is the main one. They cannot start drinking without developing the phenomenon of craving. There it is. And that's what happens to all of us. All right. I'm going to go to the bar, have two. I'm just going to have, 2 or 3, maybe 4. I don't know. 6 is a good round number. See how easy it is to just start piling them on? Okay. You know how many drinks non-alcoholics have? 1 or less. See, you can't fathom it, can you? Let's say somebody, oh, try this. Well, no, I said try it. I didn't say drink the whole damn thing. Right? So, none of us, this is where the playing field gets even, man. The phenomenon, as we have suggested, may be the manifestation of an allergy which differentiates these people and sets them apart as a distinct entity. It has never been, by any treatment with which we are familiar, permanently eradicated. The only relief we have to suggest is entire abstinence. This immediately precipitates us into a seething cauldron of debate. Much has been written pro and con, but among us physicians, the general opinion seems to be that most chronic alcoholics are doomed. Ouch, huh? Ouch. Chronic alcoholics. You're probably asking yourself, am I a chronic alcoholic? Let's find out. Definition of a chronic alcoholic. Oh, they're not going to say it for me. They go to alcohol use disorder. A chronic disease characterized by uncontrolled drinking and preoccupation with alcohol. Yeah, that gets to it. What is medically defined as an alcoholic? AUD is a medical condition characterized by an impaired ability to stop or control alcohol use despite adverse social, occupation, or health consequences. There it is. All it is just leveling that playing field some more, right? All right. What is the solution? Perhaps I can best answer this by relating one of my experiences. About 1 year ago, about 1 year prior to this experience, a man was brought in to be treated for chronic alcoholism. He had but partially recovered from a gastric hemorrhage and seemed to be a case of a pathological mental deterioration, In other words, he was losing his mind. Right? And what they're saying is he was really, really close to what we call a wet brain. And what does it mean? You drink so much alcohol that there is literally alcohol in your cranium, resting on your head, on your brain. Me. He had lost everything worthwhile in life. Excuse me. And was only living, one might say, to drink. He frankly admitted that and believed that for him there was no hope. Following the elimination, there was found to be no permanent brain injury. He accepted the plan outlined in this book. 1 year later, he called to see me, and I experienced a very strange sensation. I knew the man by name and partly recognized his features, but there all resemblance ended. From a trembling, despairing, nervous wreck had emerged a man brimming over with self-reliance and contentment. I talked with him for some time, but was not able to bring myself to feel I had known him before. To me, he was a stranger, and so he left me. A long time has passed with no return to alcohol. When I need a mental uplift, I often think of another case brought in by a physician prominent in New York. The patient had made his own diagnosis and, deciding his situation hopeless, had hidden in a deserted barn determined to die. You know, it seems like when we get to that stage, the shame, the guilt, the embarrassment, the humiliation is so much, we want to die alone. We don't want other people because we know how bad it's going to be. He was rescued by a searching party and in desperate condition brought to me. Following his physical rehabilitation, he had a talk with me in which he frankly stated that he thought the treatment a waste of effort unless I could assure him, which no one ever had, that in the future he would have the willpower to resist the impulse to drink. His alcoholic problem was so complex, his depression so great, that we felt his only hope would be through what we called moral psychology, and we doubted if that would even have any effect. Any effect, not just not help, but any effect. However, he did become sold on the ideas contained in this book. He has not had a drink for a great many years. I see him now and then, and he is fine specimen of a manhood as one could ever wish to meet. Now, not only that, but now that guy has a hell of a story to let other people know so that they don't have to get so bad that they have to hide in a deserted barn from the rest of the world to die. To die. That's what he was trying to do. Yeah. I earnestly advise every alcoholic to read this book through. And though perhaps he came to scoff, he may remain to pray. I think it is William D. Silkworth, MD. I think it is so cool he ended it with God. Right? That he ended it with God. Maybe Dr. Silkworth wasn't a very spiritual man, and maybe that changed for him too. Now he could probably see that whoever it was in his life that he loved so much that he became a doctor to do that he could think of them differently. That they had an illness beyond their control. Right. So, all right. Thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I'm fading fast. I'm getting really tired. So, thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.